Hi, second grade. Welcome to lesson 4 of Wit and Wisdom. Today we are going to start with our I can statements. Our first one says, I can tell what is happening in the digestive system by looking at text features. I can find 2 pieces of evidence about the stomach from the digestive system. And I can write my evidence on a graphic organizer. So remember that graphic organizers are what we use to take our notes so that we can be prepared to write our paragraphs. We've been doing graphic organizers all year to support our writing. The only way that this is going to be different is that you're typing it in on a computer instead of writing it down on a piece of paper. So let's go ahead and get started. We will start by going over our big module questions. Our essential question, the big one that takes all unit to answer, how can food nourish us? Our focusing question that will help inform our writing, how can food nourish my body? And remember that tricky word nourish means to provide food needed to live, grow, and stay healthy. Our content framing question, the question that we'll be answering with this lesson, is what's happening in the digestive system? So this is going to help us organize our thinking around the digestive system text. And we're going to do that by looking at text features. Before we jump in, let's do a little bit of review. Miss Daly asked you this question last lesson. The book, The Digestive System by Christine Taylor-BUTLER. Is it informational or literary? So does this text give us information or does it tell us a story? Informational gives information, literary tells a story. Think about that for a moment. If you said informational, you are correct. This story gives us information. It doesn't necessarily tell us a story. And you can remember that because informational has the word information in it. It gives us information. So the information that we are going to find today is in the text features. So looking at the special parts of this book helps us to figure out what information is this text telling us. The first piece that we have, the first text feature, is called the table of contents. If you have ever heard that term before, give yourself a tap on the head. We should all be tapping our heads right now. Yep, so the table of contents is found at the beginning of a book, and it will tell you a few different things. It will tell you how many chapters are in the book, if there are chapters. So chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It will tell you what pages you can find things on. So if I want chapter 2, I need to go to page 13. And it will tell you the names of certain sections or chapters. So digestive disorders, what makes your stomach ache? That gives me a little bit of information about what would be in that chapter. Your food processor, why is chewing so important? Gives me a little bit of information about what I might find in that chapter. So the table of contents is a great starting point because it gives you an idea of what is this text going to be about, what certain information am I going to learn, and where can I find it? Some other text features that you can find in informational texts are headings, images, and captions. A heading will sometimes look like the title of a chapter. It can also just be something that would start a section of text. In our case, in chapter 2, the heading is your food processor. So it's letting us know that it's something about processing food. An image is a picture that can be found in an informational text. So here the image that they're showing us is the human body, and they are showing us the parts of the digestive system. So pictures can be really helpful in informational text because sometimes there's so much new information that having that picture to look at can really be a good visual aid. There are also things called captions. Captions are little pieces of information that go with photos to help you explain what is in the photo or the image. So here it says, the digestive tract is like a long, winding tube. It is helped by other organs in the body, such as the liver. So this tells me that this picture is the digestive tract, and it is shaped like a long, winding tube. And I can see the different organs that are part of it. And it also says that this organ, the liver, helps it out. So headings, images, and captions can also tell you a lot about what is happening in a text. Another really important text feature that you can find in your story is glossary. So a glossary is generally found at the end of a text, and it's like a dictionary in a way. It has a list of important words that might be tricky, maybe you don't know what they mean, and it tells you what those tricky words mean. So if I'm reading this page where the section is, don't drink this juice, that's a heading, and it's talking about my stomach made of strong muscles. There are cells that line my stomach. They release a liquid called gastric juice. Contains enzymes and hydrochloric acid. This acid is strong enough to dissolve metal. A mucus lining protects your stomach from the acid. So you see two words in this section that are darker than the rest of them. They are called bold words. So bold means that they're darker than the rest of the words. And these are going to be tricky words that you probably don't know the meaning to. So for example, let's take a look at this bold word, mucus. I'm going to come to my glossary. It starts with an M, so I'm going to go down the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, skipping to the M's. Mucus, a slimy fluid that protects the breathing passages and the stomach. So now that I know what mucus means, I can go back to that page and I will know what they're talking about when they use that word. So whenever you see a bold word, if you want, you can go to the end of the text and find the glossary in an informational text, and it will tell you what a lot of those tricky words mean. The index is another text feature that you'll find at the end of your story. The really neat thing about an index is that it's got a lot of the words that you will find throughout this informational text. So it's not just like the glossary where it gives you just the bold words and their definitions. This will tell you where you can find these words in the text. So for example, if I want to find information about the small intestine, I can look on pages 11 through 13. I can look on page 17, 18 or 19, 20, 21 or 22, 24, 28, and 33. That means there's either the word small intestine, some information about it, maybe there's a photo or some chart that has to do with it. I'm going to go to a very specific page. The ones that are in bold have pictures. So I'm going to try and find a page that has a picture. So on page 18, there's a picture, and then there's a nice caption here. The small intestine is about 1 to 2 inches wide. And it says here, if you stretched out your small intestine, it would be almost 20 feet long. And down here, it's small, but it's long. The small intestine is where most food leaves your digestive tract and enters your bloodstream. So just by coming to this page, I got a picture with a caption, and I got a whole section of information that tells me about the small intestine. So as you can see, all of these different text features help you to figure out what is happening in a text. It helps us organize the information. It tells us what chapters are going to be in the story and what information we're probably going to find. By looking at the pictures, it can really help us dig in deeper and have a visual aid for what we're talking about. So of course, in this text, what is happening is they are teaching us about the digestive system. And they're doing that by splitting it up into the different processes that each organ does in the digestive system. And they help us understand it by explaining words in the glossary or showing us really helpful pictures. So good readers, when we're reading informational or nonfiction texts, we really rely or depend on those text features to help us understand what's happening. All right. We are now going to switch gears and we are going to get ready to talk about our first focusing question task. Now, we all know that our focusing question tasks mean that we are going to be writing a paragraph. It's been a long time, but we're going to help you take this process just nice and slow so that you can write a really great paragraph. I wanted to just come back to our informative writing anchor chart so that we remember what parts are contained in informative writing, because we actually haven't done this type of writing for a little while. So there's an introduction, which gives us background information. It starts our paragraph and it introduces us to the topic. We have a topic sentence, which tells the essential or main idea of what we're writing about. It also comes at the beginning. We, of course, have our evidence, which develops our topic, and we gather that evidence from the text, okay? Then we have our conclusion. This reinforces or says what the essential or big idea is in different words. So it comes at the end, and it's basically like your topic sentence, but you're rewording it. So those are the pieces that we are going to be having in our informative writing. The question that we are going to be writing about says, what important job does the stomach do as part of the digestive system? I'm going to read that again. I want you to really listen to it. What important job does the stomach do as part of the digestive system? So as you can see on this graphic organizer, which you will be able to complete, there are different due dates. So the introduction, we're not writing today. The topic sentence, we're not writing today. But the two pieces of evidence we will be writing today. The conclusion, of course, that comes at the end. We're not writing that today either. The evidence is what we are going to be looking for today. I am going to model how I would find evidence for the organ called the small intestine, which is part of the digestive system. Your job is going to be to find evidence for the stomach. So I am going to show you how to find information for the small intestine so that when it's your turn, you can do the same thing for the stomach. Let's go ahead and get started. Now move this out of the way and come out of here, because I need to be able to type in these boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this section about the intestines. I found it on page 18 from the Digestive System text by Jennifer Pryor. I'm going to read that section and see what I can learn about the small intestine. It says, what is a job that the small intestine does? So what is something the small intestine does? So it says, most foods continue into the intestines to digest. By the time food reaches the small intestine, it has become a mixture called chyme. Chyme is made up of liquids and solids. That's important, but it's not quite the job of the small intestine yet, so I'm going to keep reading. In the small intestine, the digestive process slows down. It slows down because most of the digestion takes place there. Ooh. That seems really important, that most of the digestion takes place in the small intestine. So what I'm going to do is, before I forget that important piece of information, I'm going to come over to my text box where it says Thursday, April 9th, evidence 1, and I'm going to type in the small intestine is where most of the digestion takes place. I think that's an important job because, of course, the digestive system aids us in digestion, in breaking down our food. If most of it happens here in the small intestine, that seems pretty important. But I need another piece of evidence, so I have to keep going. This is where the blood gets most of the nutrients from the food you eat. Chyme also mixes with enzymes from the pancreas. Enzymes are fluids that help digestion. Now I'm into talking about enzymes, so I think I have to go back up. Let's see. Let's read this sentence again. This is where the blood gets most of the nutrients from the food you eat. Oh, okay. So it seems to me like in the small intestine, that's how the blood gets the nutrients from the food you eat. Okay. So I need to write down in the small intestine, the blood gets the nutrients from the food we eat. So do I have two pieces of evidence? Now let's check. Evidence 1, the small intestine is where most of the digestion takes place. That seems like a job it does. Evidence 2, in the small intestine, the blood gets the nutrients from the food we eat. I'll say blood gets nutrients. That sentence flows a little bit better. So, do I have two pieces of evidence? Yes or no? Take a look at my organizer. You're correct. Yes, I have two pieces of evidence. That is what I was filling in today. Your job is going to be to look at this evidence organizer in your assignment, and you are going to find one piece of evidence that tells what the stomach does, and a second piece of evidence that tells what the stomach does. Now you might be saying, but Miss L, we don't have the book for that. I have solved that problem for you. In your assignment, you will see your graphic organizer, and next to it, you will see a piece from the Jennifer Pryor text that starts with the heading stomach. Again, that's where those headings, those text features really come in handy. This will give you a lot of information all about the stomach. You need to pick two pieces of evidence that tell jobs that the stomach does. And you need to write them down in evidence 1 right here and evidence 2 right here. So again, you're going to click into that text box and it will allow you to type it. So in your assignment, you will see your must-dos and your can-dos. The first thing you will do is listen to the virtual lesson. Okay, so there's going to be a box right here. Click it, listen to that virtual lesson. In fact, you're probably already listening to it now. The next thing you're going to do is find those two pieces of evidence all about the stomach. And finally, you're going to write down that evidence on your graphic organizer. Remember when you're done with the assignment to click submit, or your teachers won't receive your completed work and we won't know that you did it. Your can do is not something that you're required to do, but you're certainly able to if you want to have some more information. So what we posted for you today is a video all about the stomach. If you click on that where it says stomach video, it's actually a link that will take you to a YouTube video so that you can watch it. So I want to go to what your assignment will look like. Again, you'll see the materials you need, your must-dos, and your video to watch right here. The stomach video, if you click that link, it will take you to the video. And then on your graphic organizer, which is right here, you're going to read about the stomach, find two pieces of evidence, and you're going to click here and type in the first one, and here and type in the second one. Again, second graders, it's so important that you click submit when you are done with this, or we will not be able to get your completed work. So hopefully today you were able to learn a little bit about how those text features in an informational text help us figure out what's happening. And hopefully my modeling of the small intestine helped you figure out how you can easily get evidence from a text and put it onto your graphic organizer. I'm really excited to get started with these paragraphs, and I know that we are really looking forward to looking at the evidence that you came up with. Have a great day, second grade.